Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia, I'm your hostess, and you can find me online, particularly on Ravelry and Instagram as Pearl of the Pacific. So welcome everybody, today is Sunday, March 8th, and this is episode 65. I actually remembered to change my show notes. Yay, me! So thank you all for joining me. Whether you're new or returning, I really appreciate you spending time with me. Virtually, but still spending time with me. Alright, well let's just jump right into it. Below the concha, we have nothing really new this week. There's no knit along going on this month, and that was mainly due to the fact that just time got away from me. And I had a bunch of ideas and none of them really came to fruition. So we're going to take the month of March off for knit alongs, but I hope to be back up and running in April. I think that's it in terms of announcements. Oh, speaking of April, YarnCon is coming up in April in Chicago. I think it's the 13th and the 14th. So if you're in the Chicago area, I will definitely be going to that. Not sure which day or what time or whatever, but I will definitely be going. And I would love to meet up with anyone else who happens to be going. So just thought I'd put that out there for now, and when the date gets closer, we'll have some more details. Alright, on the island, I have very few things. Which seems to be a trend lately. It's not just, I don't have as much knitting time as I would like. Of course, no one really does. If we could knit 24/7, we probably would. But I've just been trying to focus on a few projects to really just get them done. I have a lot of, languishing whips. And as you've noticed probably that I've spoken about works in progress and then they just kind of vanish. They're still there. I call them resting in the hammock. I have a basket that I keep all my project bags in, and there's a bunch of them that have just kind of gotten buried in the bottom, and they really need to be finished. So I've been trying not to cast on too many new things in hopes that I will finish some of the older things. But there are some things that I've been needing to do for orders that people have purchased or ordered from me. Speaking of which, I forgot one, but I'll get that in a bit. I thought I had everything. I thought it was so organized, but no. Alright, so the first thing I've been working a lot on are what I've decided are now the vanilla latte socks. And these are out of Sweet Georgia yarns. Oh, I forgot to write down the base again. Luckily the ball band is in here somewhere. Tough Love Sock. That's what I thought it might be. It's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. And this is what it looks like. And it's the colorway Bison. It's a lovely brown. So I did the ribbing a little closer together than the pattern calls for. It's every 3 stitches, I guess. And I had thought about doing some sort of like angled pattern up the outside, and I tried that and got to about here and decided it was absolutely terrible. I ripped it back and have been reknitting this. And I've just started the gusset for the heel on the bottom of the foot. And yes, so these are for my best friend's friend. And yeah, ta-da! They aren't terribly exciting, but here they are. This is what I've been working on a lot because it's the most portable and the easiest thing because it doesn't require a whole lot of concentration. So it's what I've been keeping in my bag for, the train. Well, train rides, I haven't, the problem is it's hard to knit on the train during the winter because you've got gloves or mittens or something on and you have to take them off, and it's hard to knit with gloves on, especially if you're wearing knitted gloves. Even with my leather gloves, I find it really hard to knit with them on. And my train ride isn't that long in order to justify taking them off and putting them back on again at the end. And standing on the platform, it's just way too cold to do that. So I just tend to listen to music, or lately I've been taking a book to read because I don't have to take off my whatever thing I have on my hand to read book. So these have just been kind of worked on at lunch break and things like that. But they're nice and portable in my little yarn pop bag. And I'm knitting them 2 at a time, but I've got both strands coming out the hole in the front. And I've discovered that actually works quite well. So, and as I've mentioned before, there's Yarn Pop does this thing where they make a hole there between the zipper and the bag, so that you can put your project inside the bag and still zip it closed and not worry about snagging your yarn. So there's plenty of room in that little hole. So that's what I've been working the most on. Static Sing socks have not been touched. I was hoping to get to them, and I just haven't yet. I may this afternoon, but we'll see. The other thing that's on the needles that I just cast on this morning is Lintillia by Martina Behm, and it is out of 3 Irish Girls. I have no idea the colorway. I didn't put it in my show notes. Wow, I'm really disorganized today. I tried. I worked on them yesterday, and I've had this yarn. I bought it at Vogue Knitting Live last year, and it was a special Stephen West design colorway. I do know that. And I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to have that. So it's this bright green, bright like sky blue, and bright pops of yellow and gray, and it's super springy and I love it. And I've had it in this bag, my Homespun House horsey bag, for a while, like ready to cast on. And finally this morning I was like, all right, I need something that's not those brown socks to take with me. Because I had a meeting this morning before choir. And so here it is so far. And if you notice, there's quite a few strings hanging off of it. That's because there's 3 knots so far in the skein. I'm hoping that's it for the rest of the skein, because it's kind of annoying. So this is my starting end, and then I've actually already woven in these. The first knot, I thought it was just the yarn getting tangled on itself, so I undid it and then realized it was a knot holding 2 strands together. So then I just knit like I would join another thing of yarn. And then, actually, backtracking, I cast this on this morning on size 3s. I know the pattern calls for 2.5, but I don't like how that fabric, I've already knit 2 of Martina Behm's patterns. I knit the Magrathea first, and that I did knit on 2.5, but that was completely different yarn. It was also 3 Irish Girls, but it was like bamboo cotton. Very different type of yarn. Still fingering weight, but that worked on the 2.5s. It was very drapey. And then I did Trillion out of another Crafty Girl. And I did that on 3s. I tried it on 2.5s and it was way too dense. And I tried it on 3s. And I like how it turned out, but I wanted it just a little bit more drapey. So I really wanted 4s. But I couldn't for the life of me find my 4s this morning. And so I did 3s, and I was knitting along, and I realized that I was reading the pattern wrong. There are these little, like the ruffle, that's what it's called, is created by doing these little short row sections. And so you do the short rows, and then you do a certain number of plain rows back and forth between them, and I wasn't doing enough, and so the ruffles were really close together, and it was getting really bunchy, and I was like, this is weird. And then I read the pattern again, and I was like, oh, that's why. So after my meeting, I actually came home briefly to pick up my husband before choir, and I found my 4s. Randomly, they were in the 5 pocket in my, whatchamacallit, needle holder organizer case thing. And I just put them in the 5s. And finally, I was like, I only have 1 set of 5s. Why do I have like 3 sets of 5s in here? And so I pulled out what was in the 5 pocket and looked at because it says on the needle what the size is, and it was my size 4. So I was like, oh. So at choir, I ripped back what I had with the 3s, which was probably, it wasn't this big, but you can see this is what I have left of what I ripped out. So I'm almost caught up. But I'm much happier on the 4s, and also I'm now knitting it correctly. So that was nice. But anyway, in terms of the knots, yeah, so there's 2 knots, and then there's a 3rd one somewhere that I didn't pull out. Where is it? There it is. You can just barely see it there, right there. So I think when I block it, it'll just hopefully just blend into the pattern and you won't really notice it. But I'm hoping, I've never had this problem with 3 Irish girls before, so I'm hoping that this is just a fluke and those are the only 3 knots in the whole skein. That would be very nice, because knots are kind of annoying. But, so that is living in my homespun house bag, which smells of lovely lavender, because I know Molly of the Homespun House did this, and that's why I started doing it. I had these soaps from Tuft Woolens, which smell amazing, even through their plastic packaging. And she says that she keeps one in every one of her project bags to make it smell nice. I was like, that's brilliant. So I bought a pack of these at Stitches Midwest and decided, hey, I'll just throw them in my bag. So, in honor of Molly, in my homespun house, I have my lavender, which is probably one of my favorites. I love the smell of lavender. So, that is coming along. All right. Let's see what else. Set sail. I have one thing which I need to go get. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had forgotten that I had finished this, even though I finished it yesterday. This is also something that I started and finished this week, so this is the other thing that got a lot of attention, because it needed to get done. I talked about these, I think, a while ago, that I'm in a handbell choir, and my conductor, director, whatever you want to call her, also has a professional group. We're not that professional. We're good, but we're not professional. We don't like get paid to play and stuff like that. So I devised this little mallet cozy, if you will call it, for the mallets for the teeny tiny bells up at the top of the octave range, I guess multiple octaves. Anyway, the smaller bells have these mallets, and normally they're just rubber, but the bigger bells have mallets that have yarn on them. It's not knitted like this, it's just like wrapped in very tight, I don't know how they do it anyway. It's on there and it's not going anywhere. But they're covered in yarn to absorb, not absorb the sound, but make it a little softer. And the rubber against the brass of the bells makes a very tingy, like tinny sound. And it's very hard to get them just right. So my conductor said, well, why don't, maybe I said, I don't remember who suggested it. I just knit a cover for it. So that's what I've done. And her professional group just ordered a new set of the little mallets for their little bells. And she asked if I could knit covers for them. So I knit 8 covers and they all look like this. Well, generally, the pattern changed a little bit as I was going along. Yeah, I think that's one of the later ones. The decreases were a little different, and the increases were a little different. They're kind of different. Every single mallet's a little different, but I've got 8 of them in total here, and they're brand new. She just brought me the box of them in like their bags, and I just took them out, covered them, and stuck them back in the bag. So I've also finished 8 mallet cozies this week. They take me about, I don't know, 20 minutes to half an hour a piece. So they're pretty quick. I don't care. I don't know if you care about the pattern, but I used a pinhole cast on. I did 9 stitches and then increased to 30. I did them on double points. I increased to 30 and then knit like 5 rows and then started decrease, like 1 round of decreases. And then I would put it on the mallet and then do the rest of the decreases. And then just like weave the tail of the yarn through the rest of the stitches, pull it tight, tie a knot, weave it through, and weave in the ends like that. And then tighten the pinhole cast on the bottom. And they're on there pretty good. I don't think they're going anywhere. If they have problems, they can just let me know. But the pinhole cast on was perfect because, you know, you can make it as big as you need it to be and then tighten it as, you know, when you need it to. So it was easy to put it on the end of the mallet. Actually, this part and this part come off, and there's a smaller stick inside. So I can just pull this black part off and this gray part off, put the cover on, knit it closed, you know, tighten it, tie all knots and whatever, and then put the things back on. So that kind of helps protect that bottom edge too. So that also got done this week. So I'm going to deliver those tomorrow back to my handbell connector. So that'll be exciting to get those out of the house. I almost forgot about them. I was like, oh yeah, I need to do those. So they didn't take me very long. I just did a couple a night, and those, they just zoomed along. So that was really nice. All right, enough about mallet covers. From the mainland, I kind of unexpectedly got a bunch of stuff in the mail, like yesterday and the day before. So here's what I got. I got the rest of my prize from the Cozy Crafting podcast with Abby, and it was a set of stitch markers from Sue of Two Tangled Skeins podcast, and I requested yellow, and there they are, and they're beautiful, and they're bright and sunshiny, which is perfect for this time of year when we need a little sunshine, although it has been actually quite sunny in the past 2 days. Yesterday it was very sunny and warm. We're actually getting a heat wave this week. It's getting into the 50s. Woo-woo! So I'm excited about using those, and I picked yellow because it matches the bag I have from Abby, the Morning Sunshine bag, the blue and yellow bag. So those will be going in that bag. So thank you, Sue. They arrived safely, so thank you. And I'm excited. I like these kind of stitch markers. They're very simple and not dangly, and they're great. So those are going into that bag. Go in there. All right. The other thing I got in the mail was Interweave Knits. Ta-da! I somehow got on their mailing list at some point, and they send me, you know, they send you, you know how all magazines do that. They send you, they're like, sign up and get like 80% off or whatever. And I'm like, sure, okay. And, but periodically they send me a thing like, you can get a free issue. I'm like, all right, free issue. I just have to put a sticker on a thing and mail it to them. Okay. So I put the sticker on the thing and I mailed it to them. And I got a free magazine. So I kind of flipped through it yesterday. This is spring 2015. And a lot of it is like, there's some articles, which I haven't read yet. There's a bunch of patterns. this is an ad, but I really like that sweater. So I might go find something like that or find that pattern somewhere. But there are some nice patterns. There's a couple of nice shawls. Let's see if we can. I'm not very good at doing this. There we go. There's that one, and then there's that shawl. And what else? There's some good instructions about, there's a whole article about knitted on edgings. So if you want to know about knitting on edgings, there's a whole thing with some nice pictures of stuff too. Like there's different ways. There's knitting on where you haven't worked those stitches yet, and then there's knitting on where you have, like, you've cast those off and now you're picking them up as you go. I mean, I haven't read through it thoroughly. I just kind of flipped through it. Oh, and here's one about going around a corner. So there are, I think some of the patterns go along with it in terms of that theme of knitted on edgings. And here's some more patterns. And very nice. There's one I really liked. Where did it go? I do like those socks. They're nice, like, slightly cabled. Where did the one I really liked go? Oh, here's one that I really liked. It's called Raya cardigan. It's got an all over, like, leaf motif. So these were also really pretty, these sweaters. I'll give you kind of close-ups. It's got like a nice detail down the sleeve. So I'm not trying to do like a comprehensive review of this. I'm just trying to show you what's in it. So in case you were wondering. Ta-da! So that is spring 2015 Interweave Knits. So I'm excited. I don't think I would have bought this per se if it was on a stand, but I appreciate the free copy. I'm gonna, you know, enjoy the articles, and ta-da! And the last thing I got was my club shipment from Mad Color Fiber Arts, the Mad Geek Tour, where no color has gone before. I'll take it out of the bag. And I got this yesterday in the mail, and it's fantastic. So if you're in the Mad Geek Fiber Tour, if you happen to be in the Star Trek Mad Geek Fiber Tour, and you don't want to be spoiled with the amazingness that I'm about to show you, look away. Dun dun dun. Resistance is futile. It's a Borg colorway. I love it. And this is a different base than last time. This is her Stalwart base. And it's 410 yards of 75 superwash merino, 25 nylon, and 50 yarns of mini skein in electric green. But that's kind of a Borg color anyway. So I'm very excited. I have no idea what this is going to become. I was talking to my husband about it yesterday. He's like, you gotta do some like Borg stitch pattern something or other. So we'll see about that. I might do heels and toes with this and just do socks. But a shawl might also be fun. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know yet. But I love it. So I'm very excited about that. And that is it for things in the mail, which is a lot considering I didn't think I was going to have any. And all of a sudden I got a bunch of stuff in the mail. Okay, I'll take it. I think that's it for knitting stuff. I know it's not a whole lot. But, Oh, one more thing I want to share. So, from my holiday, I guess, I've been doing some reading also this week, as I mentioned earlier, on the train or like during my lunch break at work and stuff like that. And this week I've been reading this, which is Doctor Who, The Final Sanction by Steve Lyons, and it's an adventure with the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton, and his companions Zoe and Jamie. And I've really been enjoying it. It's kind of fun to experience the world of Doctor Who kind of in your imagination, so you have to imagine what's going on. And it's really fun. It takes place in the year 2204. The final confrontation between humankind and the monstrous Salatians is about to reach its tragic conclusion. It's fun stuff. So, I've really been enjoying these. I bought a bunch of them at Gen Con this year because they were like $5 a book. And I was like, okay, I'll buy these. And I received one in a Doctor Who swap. I thought, that's a great idea. So I thought, you know, I can throw these in Doctor Who swap when I do another one. So I've been trying to read through them so that, you know, I can enjoy them and then pass them along. And it's been fun. I read a couple a while ago that I really, really enjoyed. And so I've kind of been glad to get back into the world of Doctor Who. I have not watched the new season with the new Doctor yet, simply because I can't find a place to watch it, because I don't have cable. Well, I do, but I get like 5 channels, and then maybe like 50 Spanish channels, which are really only good for the World Cup and the Olympics. It's really the only time we watch TV, like an actual TV. We watch Netflix and stuff like that, but we did watch the Oscars. That's the only time. We just don't use our cable, but it came with our internet, so it's like you had to get a basic cable package to get internet. We're like, all right, well, one internet, so we'll deal with the basic cable package, which was great during the Olympics and the World Cup. We just had to watch the World Cup in Spanish, which is fine with me. They were actually way more exciting. We watched one game in English, and it was really boring. The guys on the commentators on the Spanish channel were awesome. I didn't know half of what they were saying, but it didn't really matter. It was just, they made it sound exciting, and that's what I appreciated. The English guys just talked a lot about random things. I'm like, no, gotta make it exciting. Anyway, I'm gonna ramble on for an awfully long time if I don't turn this off soon. It is kind of the middle of the Baha'i fast, which I talked about, I think, a couple times ago, where we don't eat from sunrise to sunset. So I've been up for quite a while, and I have not eaten lunch, and I will not eat lunch. So this is about the time of day where your brain starts to go a little crazy, and then you kind of recover for a little bit, and then it's time to eat. So it's been fun at work, because I work at the Baha'i National Center, so most of the building, I think, is fasting at this point. There are stipulations in which you don't fast, like if you're sick or you're pregnant or you're, a certain age or you've got health complications or whatever. So while I was still recovering from my cold of last week, I was not fasting, but I'm now starting to fast, and I really enjoy it. It's a very nice time. I like being up early in the morning. It's really quiet. I can have my breakfast, and my husband's not a morning person, so he's actually a late night person, so he stays up a lot later than I do, and so he drinks a ton of water and eats stuff late at night and just sleeps through the morning, because he doesn't get up as early as I do for work anyway, so it makes sense for him. For me, it's not getting up that much earlier in order to eat before the sunrise, so I've just kind of been enjoying the quiet time with the cat and, reflecting and praying and meditating. Okay, I don't meditate. I fall asleep if I try to meditate. Meditation through knitting. That's it. And, just having that time in the morning, I've really been enjoying it. I will be happy when I don't have to get up before the sun is, but that's okay. I'm a morning person, but I don't like getting up when it's dark. It's weird. Like, if I could get up right as the sun rose every morning, I think that would be kind of ideal. The problem is all my friends are late night people, so I don't always get to bed as early as I would like to. So getting up at the crack of dawn gets a little harder when you don't go to bed early. Oh well. Alright, enough of me complaining about things. I will let you all go. Have a great week. Happy knitting, and I will talk to you again next week. Bye.